Here's more wrestling news for January 20th, 2022. And your headlines for this afternoon include WWE confirms change of plans after controversial new name for Walter, AEW references recent name change and infamous criticism from WWE on latest Dynamite, former WWE World Champion reveals biggest regret of his career, WWE superstars forced to wait weeks to speak to Vince McMahon, even longer for some superstars. Mickie James reveals whether she'll wear the Impact Knockouts World title at the WWE Royal Rumble. New Impact commentator says he has no idea what goes on during the show. WWE Hall of Famer confirmed for new dancing show from Fox, and more. We are kicking off today with Gunther, formerly known as Walter, who faced Roderick Strong on this week's NXT 2.0, but only after WWE had a change of plans. Originally, the Austrian was going to be Gunther Stark, but when WWE trademarked that name, they weren't aware that a Nazi officer during World War II also had the same name. Online, some have speculated that perhaps Gunther will now revert back to Walter because of this controversy, and even without the name being shared by a Nazi, fans were more than happy with Walter being called Walter. On WWE.com, the bio for the former United Kingdom champion has confirmed his name is now just Gunther, with no reference to either Walter or the Stark surname. Although WWE have trademarked the name Gunther Stark, there's no confirmation if this trademark will apply to just Gunther, as it's traditionally very difficult for one company to own a first name. Whatever WWE has planned, it's clear that the Gunther name is here to stay, but don't ever expect the last name to be used on TV. Gunther's new name has been a major talking point as of late, and it even got referenced on last night's edition of AEW Dynamite. During the show, TNT champion Cody Rhodes made his return after a brief absence due to a positive test and didn't waste time bashing WWE. Saying that the Undisputed Era were just developmental guys for WWE, Rhodes said that in AEW, wrestlers aren't forced to change their names to Gunther McGillicuddy, referencing the recent name change. This also refers to another controversial name change from years ago when Joe Hennig, the son of Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, was renamed Michael McGillicuddy before being rechristened Curtis Axel. At the time, many fans wanted the former WWE superstar to use the Hennig name, and Cody ended his promo by announcing a ladder match next week between himself and Sammy Guevara to determine the undisputed TNT champion in what'll be a huge match worthy of the main event spot. It wasn't just Cody who had something to say about WWE, as Max Caster of The Acclaimed cut one of his freestyle raps last week with some lyrics provided by the competition. Last week, WWE provided a statement for a Toronto Star article about pro wrestling where they cited the New Year's Smash Rampage match that saw Anna Jay and Ty Conti face the Bunny and Penelope Ford as gory self-mutilation. In his performance, Caster referenced this line, saying that if Sting and Darby Allin faced them, it'd be gory self-mutilation. Despite his confidence, The Acclaimed lost once again to the WWE Hall of Famer and his partner, maintaining an undefeated streak over the AEW tag team. We imagine this won't be the last time Caster references WWE, and between the Rhodes comment, we wonder if AEW will still insist that they don't focus on what their competition does. Back to WWE, as Randy Orton has been a staple of TV for close to 20 years now, and has had a Hall of Fame-worthy career. Not only boasting an impressive 14 World Championships, Orton has the most pay-per-view matches to his name, but there are some parts of his career the Viper wishes he could do over. Sitting down with Fox 2 Now in his native St. Louis, Orton spoke about his finisher, the RKO, and admitted that while it's a great move, it's taken its toll on his body. Landing flat on his back a couple of thousand times over the last couple of decades has left Orton feeling worse for wear, and in that interview, the Legend Killer said that he wishes he could go back in time and come up with a new move. Over the years, Orton has experimented with other finishers, most notably the punt kick, but it's the RKO out of nowhere that Orton will be remembered for, even if he's starting to feel it now. If there's one major criticism with WWE, it's that superstars are often mismanaged, with many getting underused and overlooked before eventually being released. Now in his mid-70s, Vince McMahon remains firmly in control of his company, but given that he must juggle both running shows and running an empire, it can be hard for superstars to get to speak to the boss. Speaking to Sportskeeda this week, former WWF head writer Vince Russo gave his opinion that Rhea Ripley is being mismanaged on Raw, and added that an anonymous superstar, one far higher on the totem pole than Ripley, is frustrated with how the company is run. Russo claims that the anonymous superstar told him that to see McMahon face-to-face is a 3-week wait, and that it's almost certainly longer for stars like Ripley lower down the card. The controversial wrestling personality didn't give any clues as to who this mystery wrestler is, but if you're a superstar wanting to speak about your character with the boss, then you should probably take a ticket and get in line. At the Royal Rumble, Mickie James will return to WWE in the Women's Rumble match, despite being the reigning Impact Knockouts World Champion. When WWE announced her return on SmackDown, Pat McAfee didn't hesitate to bring up James' ongoing title reign, referencing the company that was once seen as the only possible competition to WWE. Now the question is, how will James represent Impact at a WWE Premium Live event? And when speaking on Busted Open Radio, the wrestling veteran made her plans for the Rumble clear. Pat McAfee's already mentioned it on television and referred to me as the Knockouts World Champion. That was really powerful, so I intend to walk out with the championship. I feel like that's representing the company that I work for now and that I am the champion for. James may want to represent Impact, but it'll ultimately be Vince McMahon's decision as to whether the Knockouts World title makes an appearance on his programming. And we'll just have to wait until next Saturday to see how James does and whether her title appears on her first night back in WWE. Speaking of Impact, Tom Hannafin, formerly Tom Phillips in WWE, made his debut at Hard to Kill 2022 and has certainly made an impact, though not necessarily for the better. On this week's show, Tom's commentary partner D'Lo Brown was attacked early in the show, and his reaction to this was over the top to say the least. Although it's never good for a commentator to be attacked and put through a table, Hannafin acted like Brown had been murdered, and the rest of the show saw several people fill the chair to work with Hannafin, who was nicknamed Tom New Name. Hannafin also had an interesting line where he said he's recently come to Impact and has no idea what's been going on during the show. While the ongoing ROH invasion has made things unpredictable, that's just one aspect of Impact at the moment, and Hannafin should have at least something of an idea as to how the show he's on works. We can't imagine Pat McAfee saying he has no idea what's going on during SmackDown, despite him being relatively new to the role, and this was definitely an odd line for Hannafin to use, albeit in character. And we're ending today with Brie Bella, who will be returning in this month's Women's Royal Rumble match, but that's not all the former Divas champion has planned. It's been announced that Brie will be joining Fox's The Real Dirty Dancing, where contestants will perform dance moves from the iconic movie. Brie isn't the first Bella to try her hand at dancing, as Nikki was on season 25 of Dancing with the Stars, where she was eliminated 6th, and her sister is hoping for a much better result when she performs later this year. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.